Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call our City Council meeting for January the 10th, 2019 to order. I'll ask that you please rise for our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Holy Father God, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the blessings that we receive on a daily basis. Give us wisdom, give us understanding. Help us to make decisions that are for the best interests of all of our community. Give us that guidance as we move forward. In thy name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I want to ask the Honorable Bill Crosby to please come forward. Madam Clerk.
A proclamation, whereas public services demands the highest forms of trust and responsibility to one's community, and for 8 years, South Carolina State Representative William E. Bill Crosby has served the North Charleston community with esteem and dignity. And whereas it was after a successful career with Meade-Westvaco Corporation that Representative Crosby was able to offer himself to serve the 117th District. And whereas, while serving, never a day passed without consideration of the community's well-being and economic prosperity for the betterment of all. And whereas, a principled family man, Representative Crosby always fought for what he believed was right and just. And whereas the demands of any publicly held offices are great, but for those fortunate enough to be elected through the democratic process, we know it is well worth the opportunity to improve the world around us. And whereas we thank Representative William Crosby for his service to District 117 and the people of the city of North Charleston. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, R. Keith Summey, Mayor of the city of North Charleston, do hereby proclaim that the 10th day of January 2019 as Representative William E. Crosby Day in the city of North Charleston, and urge all citizens to participate wholeheartedly.
Bill, we want to thank you for your service. It's great when you have a representative that will call you when there's a bill coming up that's going to affect our city to ask how the city feels about it, and you've done that for the last 8 years. We greatly appreciate you.
Thank you.
We're going to miss you. I'd like to say a few words. Would Bill's family please stand? He's got his family here with him.
Most of the crowd, my family. Mayor, thank you very much. I'm honored by this. I tell you, this is an awesome thing to receive it from a city so respected as the city of North Charleston. My representative is Virginia Jamison, so Virginia, thank you very much as well, and all councilmen, and most of you I've been knowing for a long time. Michael, Skip, Bobby, everybody, all of you. I thank you for this honor, and I appreciate it very much.
I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much. I could talk to you all day about what's going on in Columbia, but I don't think you want to hear about it. But, you know, it's like that everywhere you go in politics and on down the line. The only thing I am sorry didn't happen while I was in there is Virginia wanted a noise barrier for so many years, so I'm sorry. Maybe somebody else will help you, Virginia. So, but thank you very much for the honor.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it very much.
Representative Crosby, I just want to tell you that it has been a pleasure to work with you and for you. You have worked for our communities diligently over the years. And, sir, I salute you as you go to your retirement.
Thank you, Virginia, very much.
Now, I would like to introduce the new employees for this month. I'll ask as I call your name to please come up and stand up here. We do this on a monthly basis so that the public can see our new hires and our council can meet our new hires and they can meet our council, so that we let them know how much we appreciate them becoming a part of the City of North Charleston's workforce, but also how much we respect them and expect of them as well as employees of the City of North Charleston. From our police department, Brittany Butler, Torian Kuntz, Brittany Balliet, Jennifer Guevara, Tommy Harger. There ain't many of them southern names. I want y'all to know that. Them last names, they're a little tough on an old man.
Missed one.
Mr. Mayor, we missed one.
Who did I miss? I missed one?
Kara Browder.
That's in planning and zoning. I was just pleased. Kara Brighter, please come for planning and zoning. Thank you. Recreation, Brenda Ringe. Let me tell you something. We're so glad to get Brenda. She worked for a horrible place called the Post and Courier for years, and we're just glad to get her out of that so she can work a good job. Public Works, Darrell Booker. Working in a job that allows you to provide service to people is an awesome chance, but an awesome responsibility as well. So we appreciate you being willing to come to work in our government to provide service to the people of the City of North Charleston and all those people who come through our community as well. We expect you to be respectful. We respect you, and we expect you to do your job. And some of you that are in law enforcement, sometimes that feels a little contradictory at times. But we just ask you to be fair, be honest, be just, and we will work with you so that you will enjoy your employment here with the City of North Charleston. As for you, turn around now and look at your council folks. These are the folks that approve your budget on an annual basis. They're the ones that approve salary increases on an annual basis. They're the folks that take the complaints and inquiries from each of their districts. But at the end of the day, we all come together as one district, the City of North Charleston, to make sure that we're providing the best quality of service. We hope your tenure here with North Charleston is enjoyable, and we hope it's long. God bless you for being a part of our team. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, you may continue with the printed agenda.
The next item on the agenda are the City Council minutes from December the 20th, 2018.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
And Mayor Summey.
Aye.
The next item is an ordinance for final reading to provide for the issuance and sale of GO bonds of 2019 of the City of North Charleston in the aggregate principal amount of not exceeding $15 million, to prescribe the purposes for which the proceeds shall be expended, and to provide the payment thereof and other matters relating thereto.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
No.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summey.
Aye.
The next item is an ordinance for final reading, amending Section 2-99 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of North Charleston for salary adjustments for the office of mayor starting January of 2020 through December 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
No.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy.
Aye.
The next item is an ordinance for final reading, amending Section 2-27 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of North Charleston for a salary adjustment for the office of City Council for the term January 20th through December 2023.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
No.
Mr. Brinson?
No.
Mr. Olds?
No.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King? Mr. Skipper?
No.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy.
Aye.
The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is a final reading to approve the sale of .33 acres of unopened right-of-way and a drainage ditch located off of Sproul Avenue in North Charleston for a prorated appraisal value of $3,165 to Firefly Distillery.
Move approval. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
And Mayor Summy.
Aye.
The next item is for first reading of an ordinance rezoning property addressed as 6885 Dorchester Road, identified as Charleston County TMS number 406, parcel 17, from B1 Limited Business to B2 General Business, and a concurrent amendment to the Comprehensive Development Future Land Use designation for that same parcel, changing from neighborhood commercial to major business retail.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, all. We have a proposed rezoning request at 6885 Dorchester Road. The existing zoning is B1 Limited Business, and the requested zoning is to go to B2 General Business. The parcel is approximately 1.1 acres and in Council District 1. We have an aerial picture of the parcel there near the intersection at Dorchester Road and Lambs Road. And then you have a zoomed out picture there, and you can see that parcel 17 adjacent to the shopping center. The proposed rezoning request is to rezone from B1 Limited Business to B2 General Business, represented in red on the map there. And a rezoning would require a proposed map amendment to the future land use map within the comprehensive plan, changing the designation from neighborhood commercial to major business retail. The subject property is a largely undeveloped parcel in the North Village Shopping Center on Dorchester Road. The applicant has requested to rezone the subject property to B2 General Business, which would be consistent with the adjacent B2 zone parcels, including the rest of the shopping center and its out parcels. The comprehensive plan's future land use map assigns the parcel and those adjacent to it on Dorchester Road with a neighborhood commercial designation and would require an amendment to major business retail to support the zoning. Based on the adjacent development pattern zoning and its location along a major commercial corridor, staff has recommended approval and the Planning Commission has recommended approval.
Any questions by council? Hearing none, this will be referred to our Public Safety Committee, which meets at 5 p.m. next Thursday, at which time you'll have an opportunity to speak on the zone.
The next item on the agenda is first reading of an ordinance rezoning the property addressed at 5639 Lederman Street in Charleston County, identified as TMS number 473-13, parcel 174, from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 General Business, and a concurrent amendment to the Comprehensive Plan's future land use map designation for that same parcel, changing from single family traditional to major business retail.
Okay, we have a rezoning request at 5639 Lederman Street. The existing zoning is R1 Single Family Residential, and the request is to rezone to B2 General Business. The parcel is approximately 9,059 square feet and is in Council District 8. There you have an aerial version of the property along Lederman Street, and a zoomed out aerial of the property shows it's close to the intersection with Remount Road. The proposed rezoning request is to rezone it from R1 Single Family Residential, designated in yellow there on the map, to B2 General Business. And this would require a map amendment to the future land use map from Single Family Traditional to Major Business Retail. The subject property is located in the Charleston Farms neighborhood and is developed with a small residential shed in the rear left corner of the parcel, and there are several trees on the property. The applicant has requested the property be rezoned from R1 to B2. Commercial zoning in this location would represent an expansion of commercial activity into the neighborhood, and although the neighborhood has opposed expansion in the past, we do have letters of support that support this rezoning request. Based on the adjacent land uses and zoning which surround the subject property, staff recommends approval of the rezoning and associated future land use map amendment. The Planning Commission has also recommended approval.
Any questions by council? Hearing none, without objection, it's also referred to the Public Safety Committee, which meets at 5 p.m. next Thursday.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda are the speakers, which Neil Bailey. Is Mr. Bailey here?
Please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Give us your remarks. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, folks, this afternoon. My name is Neil Bailey. I live at 5521 Boots Avenue in Singing Pines. I've only got a couple of things, but we need some additional speed bumps. It took about 25 years and we got one. And we need probably 6 or 7 to slow this traffic down in the neighborhood. And I'm asking y'all to think about it and see what you can do about it for us. That's one thing that I'm here for. And the other is on 526 and I-26, there's a lot of truck traffic as well as Linot Road and Rivers Avenue. And these trucks have what's called gate brakes. Then they're used in mountainous areas to help slow the truck down. Well, they don't have no mountains around us, but these drivers like to hear them go boom, 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 boom. Well, we can hear it in Singing Pines too well. In a lot of communities, you see signs on interstates as well as on 52 or Linot, no gate brakes. That would help out a lot for us, not having to hear that, because we have airplanes, hilltoppers, 2 different train tracks, and now we got the gate brakes and all this stuff. So I would appreciate if we can think about that. The other major problem is Sanders Brothers. They start work about 6:15 in the morning. Everything they got has a backup alarm. And at that time of morning, doot, 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 and that goes on until about 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening, all during the day. I know they have to have a backup alarm, but something needs to happen so we don't have to hear them. I mean, it's very disruptive for our neighborhood. So that's what I'm asking y'all to help us out with. Now, the other thing I want to say is the police department has really helped our neighborhood, and I want to tell everyone that thank y'all for that very much. And I told Mr. Reggie about it, so his police officers worked very hard. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker signed up is William Johnson.
You're getting there, buddy. William, just give us your name and address for the record. Give us your remarks. Thank you for being here.
I'm William Johnson. I live at 2012 Jedi Street. I live right on the corner of Jedi and Gale. And we have a problem with the speeders. They come around that corner sometimes and the tires just squall. We need some speed bumps, something to slow these people down. We have a lot of elderly people in the neighborhood that walk their dogs and do exercise. And someday somebody's gonna get hit because of this. Speed bump sure would help. Some more police protection would help. They ran a motorcycle cops in there for a while, and that worked. Because they'd sit in that little cul-de-sac, and when they come in, they'd catch them going both ways, and that really produced. So, but we sure could use your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Sir, right here, are they like special time that they mostly come in like?
Not really. It's 24/7.
Okay.
I've had school buses come by that I think they were going to turn over because they'd be laying so hard. And our kids is on these buses. And we had a problem with the car carriers coming through. We got that taken care of, hopefully.
But you got threatening enough there.
What more could you do? Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next speaker is Warren J. Wersher.
Between the three of us, William can't walk. So, some people have trouble speaking, and I have no hearing left. So I have no idea how Neil and I can be friends. He can't talk, I can't hear. We just nod. What I did want to say was, you know, William, you not almost had a school bus layover on the side. About 15 years ago, we did have a school bus layover on its side right in front of the Parks house, right there where Bubba Parks had built his house. And I was out working in the yard, and I was the first one on that bus. And let me tell you, it's not an entertaining thing to have people come around the corner at NASCAR speed. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is to thank you all for the attention that Singing Pines has received. And it's obvious that it has received attention because it is a nice place to live. It's a nice community with well-kept homes and nice lawns. I'd like to thank the Chief of Police for the attention that we've received. As long as we have that police attention, we are able to keep the bad guys away from us. I have not had any problems in the first 30 years, I guess, that I lived there. But recently I've had 2 break-ins at my house, and unfortunately, some of the things they got away with were firearms, which I'm afraid wind up being used either against citizens or against our police. You know, I just think that cutting back on police protection because there's nothing happening there, while it may seem sound from a fiscal point, it isn't really, that's like saying, well, let's stop the pumps because the flooding is almost stopped. Well, no, if you stop the pumps when the flooding is almost stopped, the ship sinks. If you go to the border wall down in Texas and you say, look here, we don't need a wall because there's no people coming through here. Well, that's because there's a wall. So if you think about things in terms of keeping your neighborhood safe, the police protection is essential. And the last thing I do want to talk about is in our neighborhood, we have the edges of every road in there are being washed over with sand. And if you look at the neighborhood, the houses are they're brick homes and they're nicely painted and the lawns are nice and the place is kept up. But the edges of the city street look terrible. They're all busted off to the edges. There's sand washing in on them. And it just looks unkempt when it's like that. If we could just get some attention to curb and gutter, perhaps the sloped curb, or the 90-degree curb and gutter. But honestly, I don't think we need sidewalk everywhere because there isn't a lot of spot for sidewalk. But everywhere along, every one of those roads, the lawns are at least 6 inches above street grade. So it wouldn't be a matter of having to move in a lot of dirt or anything. We cut the dirt back a little bit. I walked around the neighborhood the other day and looked at it, and to tell you the truth, I know there's interest in it because some people have actually laid either landscaping timbers, railroad ties, or paving blocks to make their own curb. I mean, if they're trying to make their own, we really kind of need some help in that area. Anyway, I've taken enough of your time.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. All right, anything else council needs to bring up?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
In closing, before you adjourn, I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to everyone who extended their condolences in the loss of my father. It truly meant a lot to hear from everyone, the calls, the cards, and the visit. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, and we hope your family works through this difficult time. Anything else? Hearing nothing, meeting's adjourned. God bless you.